The most powerful weapon on earth is the human soul on fire. And the fire that ignites our human souls is passion. Tonight I'm going to talk about how we can connect through that passion, how we can live passion-driven lives with passion-driven families and passion-driven businesses. I personally am very passionate about helping children in need find loving, permanent families. After my first year in college, I spent 2 years volunteering in Brazil, some very poor parts of northern Brazil. And I fell in love with the children. And I committed to do something that would make a lasting, meaningful difference in their lives when I got back. Back in college, it was the first week of a new semester, and we'd already started classes. And I took a phone call for one of my roommates. This is back when there were rotary phones, and all the roommates shared one phone. And the caller left a message saying that he was going to take this brand new HTML class to learn how to build websites. And he wanted my roommate to take the class as well. Neither the caller nor my roommate took the class, but I ended up signing up for it, and then took the second class. And those classes helped open my eyes to the unlimited opportunity of the internet. And I wrote a thesis on how to help children through the internet through adoption. And that thesis became a business plan and won a couple of business plan competitions, and then became adoption.com. I've spent most of my career helping grow adoption.com to become the world's most used adoption site. When I started adoption.com, closed adoption was the norm. This meant that the woman who was pregnant and considering adoption relinquished her baby to the agency. And then in many cases, the agency chose the family. And in many cases, there was no communication between that birth mother and the adoptive parents, either before or after the adoption. Adoption.com helped revolutionize how adoption happens. We developed a service called Parent Profiles that facilitated connections between birth parents and adoptive parents. And these adoptive parents create a profile where they can share their story, they can share their passions, and then the women that are pregnant and considering adoption, or the fathers that are part of that process, can come to adoption.com and see hundreds of profiles and connect with the right family to adopt their child. This hopeful adoptive parent profile behind me is that of Derek and Andrea, who are actually with us here tonight. Adoption.com has helped hundreds of families like Derek and Andrea to connect with birth parents and make their adoption dreams come true. This is Jeff and Bobby. Jeff and Bobby put a profile live on adoption.com earlier this year. Not long after their profile went live, they received a call from a birth mother in Florida, or a potential birth mother in Florida. Ultimately, that birth mother chose to place her child with them. And while they were waiting for the baby to be born during the months of gestation, they continued to keep their profile live on adoption.com. During that time, they were contacted by another birth mother. That birth mother lived in their own state, and so Bobby went to lunch with the birth mother. She said it was so comfortable. It was like going to lunch with her mom and her sister. And after the lunch, she got in the car, and she called her husband, and she said, "What are we going to do?" They had a serious dilemma in trying to choose which of the two babies they were going to adopt. And after much discussion, they decided to adopt both. They called the birth mothers, they explained the situation, and the birth mothers were both very excited that their child was going to essentially have a twin. Both of these babies were born in the last 60 days, and they were born within 24 days of each other. One of the birth moms told Jeff and Bobby why she picked them. She said, "I was actually adopted myself, and I saw this dog in your profile. And in your profile, you talk about your passion for this dog that you adopted from this and rescued from this animal shelter. And what a huge part this dog is in your life. That birth mother hadn't had a dog when she was younger. But after she was adopted herself, the adoptive family had a dog. And she became very close with that dog, and she loved that dog. One of the most important things for her in choosing an adoptive family was that they love their dog like she loved her dog. And because of their connection, their passion for that dog, and her passion for a dog, they were able to connect, and the adoption happened. This is my passion meter. This is a concept I developed, and it goes from 0 to 10. 0 represents things I couldn't care less about. 10 represents things that drive my life. I'm going to say a few things. When I say these things, I'd like you to participate with me. I'd like you to raise your hands and show me on your fingers what those things that I say are, where they score for you on your passion meter. For example, if I say something that's a level 0 passion for you, I want you to hold up 0 fingers. If I say something that's a level 10 passion, I want you to hold up 10 fingers. Or you can hold up any number of fingers in between, just don't hold up your middle finger. Okay, so let's start. How passionate are you on a scale of 0 to 10 about the brand of gasoline that you put in your car? Okay, that's a goose egg. That's an average of 0. I see some 1s, I see some higher ones, but we'll average between 0 and 1. Okay. How passionate are you about your favorite sports team? These are all over the board. Looks like our average is about a 6 or a 7, I would guess. Okay? Now, how passionate are you about your family? I think that's a unanimous 10. The magic happens when we can identify the level 9 and the level 10 passions, and then leverage those level 9 and 10 passions, connect through those level 9 and 10 passions, and develop passion-driven families, passion-driven businesses. This concept works with marriage, it works with nonprofits, but I'm going to use 2 examples of families and businesses. It works in every important relationship. In the example of the adoption that I just shared, that connection happened because both of those families shared a level 9 or a level 10 passion for dogs. So, level 9 and level 10 passions, those aren't just interests, those aren't just hobbies. Melissa Cardin is a Pace University management professor, and she taught us that passion is a positive, intense emotion that we experience for things that are profoundly meaningful to us. Ralph Waldo Emerson said that passion is one of the most powerful engines of success, and that nothing great was ever achieved without passion. Let's start with businesses. Businesses can leverage level 10 passions to build strong relationships with their customers and to ignite growth in their business. But how many businesses instead bombard us with passionless marketing messages? Guess what? Our flavor of the day is lemon. Guess what? We don't care. These businesses are talking about themselves instead of connecting with their customers through level 10 passions. So after growing Adoption.com for 11 years, I stepped away from the business. And I helped other organizations to grow their businesses through passion-driven marketing. And I want to show one case study. I'm not trying to promote this organization. I'm trying to show how the concepts work in practice. So this first organization is Deseret Digital Media. They operate television, radio, internet, newspaper, a bunch of different assets focused on the Utah market primarily. Their mission statement is to be trusted voices of light and truth, reaching hundreds of millions of people worldwide. But guess what? Utah only has about 3 million people. How are you ever going to reach hundreds of millions of people by focusing on Utah? So in 2012, they hired me to help solve this problem. When I started, their social strategy was focused almost exclusively on brand-based Facebook pages. And the total number of social followers across all of their brand-based Facebook pages was less than 100,000. So in an executive committee meeting of Deseret Digital Media, I introduced this concept of the passion meter. And I asked the executives, if you didn't work for this company, how passionate would you be about one of our leading brands that shall remain nameless? The average score was about 2.5. When we try to market something that's a low-level passion, that's a 2 or a 3, even a 5 or a 6 on that passion meter, it's like trying to push through a brick wall. I don't know if any of you have ever tried to do this, to grow a brand-based Facebook page, right? It's really expensive to get followers. We often have to bribe people to be our followers, right? I was getting a haircut this week, and they were offering a discount on every haircut just to follow their Facebook page. In the strategy we did for Deseret Digital Media, there was no contest, no bribery, no giveaway. It's a very ineffective way to grow your social following. You want people to follow you who actually care about you, who love you, who are passionate about you. We wanted to leverage these level 10 passions and shift from brand-based marketing to a passion-driven marketing strategy. So we did focus groups, we did surveys, and we identified something that we call passion statements. Level 10 passion statements usually start with phrases like, I love, or I am. These are passion statements that evoke emotion. They define our lives. They define who we are. And so the Deseret Digital Media target audience told us that some of their top level 10 passion statements included, I love my family. I love my husband. I want a more loving marriage. So we took these level 10 passion statements that we found, and we made them the titles of Facebook pages and Twitter accounts and Pinterest accounts, right? And notice how this I Love My Family Facebook page has Family Share, the brand, connected to it. It's brought to you by the brand. Okay, so the concept here is we want to connect with the audience through their level 10 passion and then associate our brand with that passion. Notice how this Facebook page has 9 million likes or followers. Okay, we started to create these different Facebook pages. This is English with 9 million followers. This is the same page, Yo Amo Mi Familia, that has 7 million followers in Spanish, 5 million followers in Portuguese. These are just a few examples of 70 passion-driven Facebook pages that we created. By 2013, when I stepped away from the company, those pages had more than 40 million likes or followers. By November of 2014, this very talented team had continued to work on those pages after I left, and the social follows on those pages reached more than 100 million. Okay, to give you an idea of the magnitude of that, that's more social follows than any other news organization in the world, more than CNN, more than Fox, more than Huffington Post. And this is this little Utah-focused digital media company. That's also 1,000 times growth in a little over 2 years. That success was achieved by a passion-driven social strategy. We then built pages, familyshare.com, and we built the same site in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. Later, after I left, they built it in Indonesian. And those pages have received more than 200 million unique users and more than 450 million page views in October 2014 through October 2015. So these concepts don't just work in business. This concept of connecting through passion also works in parenting. But how often do we as parents try to connect with our children through our passions instead of theirs? We've all seen that dad who's on the sideline, yelling at his son, who doesn't even want to be there, trying to relive his glory days. How much more effective would it be if we connected with our children through their level 10 passions instead of ours? When my middle daughter was 6, she was crazy about horses. She came to me, probably as many daughters do, and asked if we could get a horse. So I told her, okay, if you earn half the money, we can. So she became a girl on a mission. And she did everything she could to earn and save money. And within 18 months, she had earned the $400 that was necessary for her half of the horse. And we bought a horse. Now, I'm not passionate about horses. And I'm especially not passionate about mucking horse stalls. But I'm passionate about my daughters. And through buying that horse, my daughter and I were able to do horse riding lessons together. We were able to care for that horse together. We were even able to go to the county fair where she competed and took 5th place in her first county fair. When I asked her this week how she feels about riding horses, she says, riding makes her feel free. It makes her feel alive. It makes her feel like she doesn't have a care in the world. That sounds like passion to me. And as I was able to connect with my daughter through her passion, we've been able to build a deeper, stronger, more loving relationship. So in conclusion, I want to leave each of us with a challenge. Do we know the level 10 passions of our customers? If not, let's figure them out. And then let's build our whole business around those. Let's design our products around the level 10 passions. Let's design our marketing around the level 10 passions. Let's design the messaging around the level 10 passions. All of the content we create, I promise it will ignite growth in your organization that you probably can't even imagine right now. Do we know the level 10 passions of our children? If we don't, let's figure them out tonight, tomorrow. And then let's connect with our wives and our children and the people we love through level 10 passions. It really makes a difference. It will help them to better feel our love. It will help them to better achieve their potential. Thank you.